Now in Cape Town, the Judicial Services Commission is holding hearings. The JSC is interviewing candidates for various vacancies at higher courts around the country. The commission consists of 23 representatives from government and the legal community. Proceedings started on Monday and they have resumed today. And for more from the proceedings, our contributing editor Vuyo Mvoko is there. Vuyo, good afternoon to you. Let's start with this, that there must be a certain amount of transparency having these hearings open to the public. So fair to say there's a glimpse into the state of our courts and who's elected to the judiciary.
Well, certainly, Natasha, you get a lot of that. Remember, this happens only twice a year, where the JSC sits and actually looks at interviews candidates for the various positions that are available throughout the country, from the topmost court, the apex court in the land, right through to the provinces. And as you correctly said in that introduction, you do get a glimpse of one. If you've ever wondered, in other words, why the meals tend to grind very slowly in our courts, you get a sense here as to why. Several things were highlighted throughout the day, from this morning up until around now, lunchtime, where judges were talking about the state of the courts, the dilapidated infrastructure. They were talking about people who don't pitch for work. They were talking about broken down facilities. They were talking about officers who were less than competent to do the actual work of processing documents and making sure that things are ready to go to court. Issues which, in part, the Chief Justice Mogoeng actually made a pledge and said they are on top of some of the issues, but of course conceding that the mills do indeed tend to grind very slowly. So you do get a lot of that. In other words, the state of our courts, but generally speaking, the state of the judiciary. But there's something else that one couldn't help but notice over the past couple of days, and that is the politics of the moment, current politics, kind of seeping through. In every question, you can actually pick up politicians, because remember, the JSC comprises, the MPs that are part of the JSC are actually drawn from various political parties, the governing party, the ANC, but also parties like the EFF and the DA. So you can actually hear very subtly, sometimes not so subtly, politicians talking to one another past these candidates who are here. A question would be asked to the judge, when in reality it is being directed to political party A, and then political party A actually responding via that same process. It's actually nice to watch, but the question is whether by doing that they are actually doing what they are supposed to do here, which is to interview the judges and to make sure that those they allow through, those they appoint, in other words, do actually meet the criteria and are the best candidates available. Natasha?
All right, so Vuyo, the schedule changed there a bit. How much longer do we expect these hearings to go on for, and what are we expecting the outcome to be?
Well, they're supposed to finish on Friday, and from what we've been told, that is what is going to happen. The only big change was on Monday, and that's when they brought forward the Supreme Court of Appeal interviews, and that was because of yesterday's motion in Parliament, the impeachment motion. But other than that, everything seems to be going pretty much on track. And by the end of this process, we're supposed to know who there are the new judges that will be appointed into such positions as the deputy judge presidents of many, or not most, of the provincial courts, as well, of course, as quite a number of judges that are going to serve in the high courts in the various provinces. Natasha?
Vuyo, thank you for that update. Our contributing editor, Vuyo Mvoko, live from Cape Town at the JSC hearings. Well, back in